Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for this Memorial Day Monday, May the 26th, 2014. I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day, no matter what your stance is on the politics of the Army and whether or not they deserve to go out for no reason. Salute to the Army and those who have sacrificed their lives. Today, this Memorial Day Monday has been a great weekend, great weather, and an okay Raw. The last run before Payback, it was kind of slow going, and I'm going to warn you now, there'll be certain parts of Raw that I'm going to be more vocal about. Way more vocal about. Especially one involving a guy who should be pushed. No, I'm not talking about Ziggler. I'm talking about somebody else. Probably got some new matches made for Payback this Sunday. So let's get down to it. Speaking of Payback Sunday, we have a man, of course, the CEO of the WWE will be teaming up with his boys, Batista, and Orton, to take on the Shield this Sunday. Of course, Triple H would come up with his wife, Stephanie. Talk about a lot of things happening, but there's been an historic Raw tonight about a decision we thought was going to be made about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship scenarios we would see on the subtitle. We still have more questions than answers when it comes to the status of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And it will be answered, hopefully, truly, and clearly at Payback, as we would see later on in the evening. And of course, besides talking about the whole D-Bryan situation, Triple H talked about his situation. Of course, he teaming up with Orton and Batista against the Shield this Sunday in their no-holds-barred elimination match. Or as I like to call it, a match to eliminate Batista first so he can promote his little movie. So both Stephanie and Triple H were looking very fine. Talking about their issues for Payback, but then they had one other issue to settle. Involving the Shield. Last week, Triple H made a match between Batista and Seth Rollins. And I knew it was going to be a clusterfuck with the stipulation meaning that nobody else was allowed at ringside besides official personnel. Which I knew exactly what they were going to do. Have Triple H be the announcer and Randy Orton be the timekeeper. Then Brad Maddox was kind of threatened by having Reigns and Ambrose come out as official commentators. Thus we would see Brad Maddox come out and get decimated, punished, by getting tombstoned and chokeslammed by Kane, and then getting fired. Stephanie delivers a decent "you're fired," but nobody does it better than Mr. McMahon. Now, Brad Maddox getting fired, I think we should have seen that coming. It hasn't been as relevant. We haven't seen it much. You know, the Authority's been the big figurehead on the show. Usually the general manager is usually the big figurehead on a show. But the Authority's taking over everything. They're now the big figurehead because basically the general manager answers to the Authority. If you haven't seen Brad Maddox get involved a lot, whether it's storyline-wise firing him, or maybe his contract is up, or whatever the reason is, backstage or storyline, Brad Maddox is officially fired as Raw GM. In my mind, I would love to see a new Raw GM, maybe a new face GM, because we've had heel GMs. Vicky Guerrero's, of course, the GM now of SmackDown. She even said on the WWE app, we get shoved down our throats as much as to subscribe to the network. Getting shoved down our throats now. Vicky wants to be the first to apply for the position of Raw GM. She was a Raw GM before. So, we'll see how that goes. But if they continue the Authority storyline, I don't think they need a Raw GM for a while. I would love to see a new GM. Not the mysterious, anonymous Raw GM. That storyline was stupid. The whole, not the computer. That was annoying. Hope they don't do that shit again. Or that type of shit again. So, we would have I would think a new GM should be hired after the Authority storyline stops. Like, once the Authority is not as big of a figurehead in the company, storyline-wise in the show, they should not have a new Raw GM until the Authority dies down. That's what I think. I love to see a new GM on Raw, but they're not going to get the attention because the Authority is getting all the attention. So there you go. On our first matchup, let's kick it off with Rob Van Dam, the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship this Sunday at Payback, taking on the #1 contender for the United States Championship Sunday, of course referring to Cesaro. Both guys, of course RVD taking on Bad News Barrett, and Sheamus taking on Cesaro. And B&B, Bad News Barrett, would come out just before the match would officially start, declaring some bad news for RVD that he shall be a loser this Sunday and will lose his opportunity at the IC Championship. With the distraction from B&B, Cesaro took advantage of the distraction by getting a sneak attack on RVD, getting advantage early on. Now, these two guys have had a little feud going on ever since, ironically, the IC Championship #1 Contenders Tournament a few months back, when RVD defeated Cesaro in the semis, thanks to distraction from Swagger. And of course started their little feud. Had a triple threat match, great triple threat match at the last pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. And now they have a match tonight. I think it ends the feud tonight. Especially with Cesaro now gunning for the United States Championship. I think the RVD feud may end tonight, especially after this match. Another fun matchup between these two guys. Both guys had great big moves. Of course, RVD went for the Flying Thunder. And he tried, of course, for his big moves. Besides the Rolling Thunder, of course, Firestar. We didn't see the swing. But we did see Cesaro gain advantage. Of course, we saw him gain advantage from the beginning with the B&B distraction. We even see B&B get involved not once but twice during the match, as RVD would get a big shot in on Barrett at the ringside area. But then towards the end, RVD was going to gun back with some big moves, and then Barrett distracted him again, able to let Cesaro capitalize with a roll-up in a 1-2-3 victory. So thanks to distraction from the opponent for RVD Sunday, being B&B, Cesaro gets the victory. But after the match, Cesaro's opponent for this Sunday, of course, Sheamus came flying down, attacking Cesaro with a poke kick in payback to what Cesaro did this past Thursday or Friday, should I say, on SmackDown. Pun the pun for Payback. So there you go. So the mid-card titles are getting relevant again. Wade Barrett's bringing back legitimacy. Once again, bringing back legitimacy to the IC Championship. And in my mind, I think Cesaro is going to win the title this Sunday against Sheamus. If you didn't win the IC Championship tournament, and be #1 contender and have Bad News Barrett be IC champion, I think Cesaro deserves a shot in at least winning the United States Championship. And it's kind of weird that both these guys, Barrett and Cesaro, has been down, ups and downs lately. Now they're getting big pushes again. And they're going to get big pushes by re-winning titles they've held before when they had the last big push attempt. Last time Wade Barrett was relevant, he was IC champion. Last time Cesaro was relevant, he was United States champion. So it makes a whole lot of sense to see these two regain these titles and really take advantage and really push themselves further than they've had before. Speaking of people who may and should never get a push, Red button is on for Eva Marie taking on Summer Rae. Now, this was a pointless match. The only point of this match was to kind of amp up the whole Summer Rae, Fandango, Layla storyline that's going on. Of course, we saw last week Summer Rae made a return last week, interrupting an attempt at starting a mixed tag match involving Layla and Fandango, taking on. They were supposed to take on R-Truth and Naomi. But then Summer Rae came down, kissed Fandango, and beat the crap out of Layla. So the feud continued on during this match as Summer Rae would take on Eva Marie. Rant about Eva Marie in a minute. So Summer Rae would try to get some moves in. Then Fandango came out, distracted Miss Summer Rae. And with that distraction, Eva Marie capitalized and got the win. Really? Now, I know the point was to amp up the Summer Rae thing with Layla, but Eva Marie? How many times has she wrestled in the last year? You know what I mean? Like, she's a talentless piece of crap who doesn't even deserve to be in a company, let alone a push. Like, Eva Marie, the only reason why Eva Marie is on the company is because she's on Total Divas. Basically, Eva Marie is being famous for being on a reality show. In other words, Eva Marie is the Kim Kardashian of the WWE. A talentless piece of crap who's only famous for being famous. Now, we saw Brad Maddox get fired earlier. Speaking of people who should be future endeavored, I can't believe they mentioned future endeavored tonight when Brad Maddox got fired. Eva Marie should be the next to wish luck in her future endeavors. You know what's a weird wall when they mention future endeavors and make Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift references tonight? You know what I mean? Not, like, Eva Marie's good looking, but come on. She doesn't wrestle for shit. Like, when was the last time you saw her wrestle? Let alone win anything. You've been getting a win over Summer Rae, even though it was to hype up the whole Layla thing with Summer Rae. It's like, come on. Eva Marie should be fired. Because in my mind, like I said, Eva Marie is nothing more than the Kim Kardashian of WWE. Just famous for being on a goddamn TV show. And that's all she fucking is. Red button turned down a minimum. Speaking of Miley Cyrus references, the reference to Miley Cyrus and trucking happened during this match. El Torito taking on Drew McIntyre. Of course, a member of the Job Squad. I mean, 3MB. Now, we've seen, like, people complain about some feuds going past, about some feuds overextending their welcome. Like we saw the Hornswoggle. Ironically, today's the 7-year or 8-year anniversary of Hornswoggle's debut in the company as the little bastard. Too Finley. You know what I mean? And, of course, Hornswoggle had that stupid feud against Mr. Chavo Guerrero that overstayed its welcome. Same with this feud. I think the 3MB Los Matadores feud has overstayed its welcome, as we saw El Torito take on Drew McIntyre. A little person against Drew McIntyre. That was kind of weird. Especially, they were like doing like hip thrusts that JBL called trucking. Really? So it was kind of a stupid match. I know it's kind of to continue this whole 3MB Los Matadores feud. It's been a fun feud. Now it's starting not to be fun anymore because it's getting repetitive. You know, the WLC match between El Torito and Hornswoggle, I said on my pay-per-view review of Extreme Rules, that was the best and fun pre-show match I've ever seen. It was a fun match. But the feud is overstated welcome. And we saw, you know, El Torito being tossed around by Drew McIntyre. Not really fair to have him against big guys. And Drew McIntyre was supposed to do like was aiming towards like a powerbomb type move on El Torito. And then Los Matadores came in to distract him. And then he got beat down by Slater and Jinder. And with that distraction, El Torito got the roll-up in the 1-2-3 victory with that distraction, getting the win on Drew McIntyre. But then after the match, we saw a beatdown from 3MB on El Torito. And then I saw Hornswoggle trying to pull off the mask of El Torito and even detail him. They pulled off his tail. Rock stars get the tail indeed. Too bad I didn't make that joke. They make a Miley Cyrus reference, but they had an opportunity to say rock stars always get the tail. Get it? Tail, ass. You know, they pull the tail off. And while seeing that segment go down with Hornswoggle threatening to pull off the mask of El Torito, I was like, I would not be surprised if they have some sort of match involving El Torito and Hornswoggle with the mask on the line. Soon enough, later on the show, we would have a match made for the pre-show. For the second pre-show in a row, it's El Torito versus Hornswoggle. This time it is a hair versus mask match. That means if El Torito loses, he must be on mask. And if Hornswoggle wins, he shaves. I smell shaving. I smell Hornswoggle is going to be a baldy. I don't think El Torito's going to lose a mask. You know, I was saying that. I was like, they're going to do something involving them putting the mask on the line of El Torito because they teased taking it off. And yes, they are having a hair versus mask match with the mask on the line and Hornswoggle's hair. I think it's likely that Hornswoggle's hair is going to be shaved off. So, there you go. So, this feud's gotten repetitive, but, you know, and it was kind of silly. The ending was silly of this matchup with the whole interference factors. So, there you go. Now, on to, like, the first hour was kind of a slow walk. Like, the first hour was, like, kind of sluggish. Especially at that stupid Divas match with Eva Marie. Like I said, the only point was to hype up the Summer Rae Layla situation. But if Eva Marie win, come on, like I said, the Kim Kardashian of WWE. At least Kim Kardashian's married to Kanye. Kim Ye. The only weapons of Kim Ye in this entire program. This entire review. On with Bray Wyatt. The Wyatt family. Once again, delivering killer promo. Now, like, the crowd's been cheering him. You know, I've been hearing them trying to turn Bray Wyatt heel. From heel to babyface. It'll ruin the aura of it. Now, I think they're trying so hard to make the fans boo him still. Because the fans are cheering him, doing the, he's got the whole world in his hands. You know, they're following the buzzards. They're trying to make him they're trying to keep him as a heel. So what do they do to try to make him heel? Take on Jerry Lawler tonight. Now, it had some symbolism in him. It had some symbolism. Like, he took Jerry Lawler. It was kind of weird to see him attack Jerry Lawler. But like I said, they try to keep him heel. Try to get some heat on him still. Even attack JBL from trying to save Jerry. Because Jerry's had a heart attack and all that. So to see him in any physical activity, it's kind of weird. So, there you go. They pulled Jerry in the ring. And like, Jerry, you friends with John Cena, right? The hero, the king. And you're the king, Jerry Lawler. Who's giving your endorsement of John Cena. Shoving his name down our throats. There's kind of symbolism on him, not just attacking Jerry Lawler, but I think it was symbolism of attacking the media. You know, false media, and the media hype, and shoving things down our throats, the hypocrisy and all this conspiracies and all this hypocrisies that the media is shoving down our throats. It was kind of like an attack on the media. It's kind of like symbolism. That's what I felt. You know, that's what Bray Wyatt's promos have been all about. Symbolism. It makes you think. That's why I love Bray Wyatt's promos. He's probably one of his best promo guys since Punk's gone. He may never come back. Get that through your thick skulls. I want Punk to come back, but I've given up on hope. I don't believe that Punk's coming back. So as they're about to pound Jerry Lawler, here comes John Cena to the rescue. Then he got pummeled down by the Wyatts. And I love the way they're holding down Cena. Like, Bray was holding Jerry Lawler hostage while Harper and Rowan was holding Cena. And the way they were, like, squeezing Cena's face to make him stretch his eye. It was, like, classic. You know, like, Rowan and Harper was on each side of Cena's face, like, stretching his eyes. They're like this to Cena's face. They're like, look, Cena, look! I love that. I love the expressions on Cena's face, like squeezing his eyes. Like, look, Cena, look! Like, that was funny. That was funny. He was about to threaten to give the Sister Abigail to Jerry Lawler. He being Bray. Here comes more heroes. The Usos to the rescue. Double kick move to the Wyatts. Usos kicking Rowan and Harper. I think a tag team title match. I kept thinking that, or hinting towards a tag team title match between Harper and Rowan against the Usos. I don't think it's going to happen. It wasn't named tonight. Maybe they'll announce it on SmackDown. So there you go. Cena and Usos standing tall and saving Jerry Lawler from an unfortunate fate of getting Sister Abigail on John Cena. So, yeah, I make fun of commentary guys all I want. Especially making Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift references in one night. But having him be involved in a segment involving the Wyatts tonight, and JBL taking a bump too, it's kind of intriguing. Now on to our next match. Good news! Finally, Zack Ryder's back on Raw. Woo woo woo! But I'm afraid I've caught some bad news. He took on Rusev. Enough said. Need I say more? Typical Rusev squash. Big stomp. Crush! Accolade! Tap! Win! Then Big E came out again. Now, I think they're starting a feud between Big E and Rusev. We saw Big E coming out a few weeks ago. Taking on Rusev, doing a segment, like attacking Rusev. I think they're building a feud between these two. It's kind of a downgrade for Big E. He went from being IC champion now feuding with Rusev. It's kind of a weird feud going on. You know, they're starting. So, there you go. This Big E Rusev feud, we'll see how that goes. Now on to our next match, which was made backstage. Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Like Zack Ryder, are frustrated on and off screen about not getting enough TV time. So they went to the Authority and wanted a match. Instead of seeing the Authority, they saw Randy Orton and Batista. They wanted some sort of action. So they issue an open challenge. And I love Cody's little promo here. I've always been very critical. If you've seen my wall reviews throughout the years, especially when Cody Rhodes was dashing Cody Rhodes with that mask on, when his voice was so monotonous, I've been up and down on his promo skills. You know, it's been varied throughout the years. But I think his promo tonight was kind of funny. You know, arcade blows. I know that some Cena would say, because Cena always goes for those crude, silly toilet humor. But hearing that kind of toilet humor come out of Cody Rhodes, it's kind of funny. Because you always hear that type of PG appropriate toilet humor from Cena. You know, the dumbed down humor from Cena. But hearing that come out of Cody Rhodes, like arcade blows, that was kind of funny. So with the verbal mouthage, we would have this matchup involving Cody Rhodes and Goldust to team up against Batista and Randy Orton. Now, no signs, once again, of the incoming hints about the implosion of the Rhodes brothers. Development may come another week. And Triple H said it was not going to be a typical match between these two teams. As we would see, it wasn't. Now, Cody Rhodes and Goldust are still a great tag team. You know, I know they want to break them up and make them go separate again, but they have been a great tag team for what it's worth. You know, great tag team champions when they were tag champions in the fall of last year. And they showed a great teamwork again tonight. They still showed that they deserve to have at least be back in the title hunt again if they don't break up soon. Which maybe soon they may break up. They've been teasing it, like I said. They didn't tease it tonight, but they may tease it again next week. And the week after that. Etc. Etc. So we would see these two guys face off against Batista and Orton. Batista and Orton make fun of all about their lack of skills. And of course, Batista. They actually did pretty well as a tag tonight. Especially the ending of what would end up being the first fall. I love when Randy Orton does the mid-air RKOs. You know, that's probably one of my favorite things that Orton does. That he does the RKO in midair. Like the most noticeable when he RKO'd Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne was in midair trying to go for the airborne. Got caught in midair for the RKO. This RKO in midair was probably my other favorite tonight. Corny was going. He did nail the disaster kick near towards the end on Batista. But it was as he was ready to get the disaster kick on Orton. As he was setting it up midair. Bang! RKO by Orton. Great RKO in midair. Then after a second RKO, Cody Rhodes was pinned. Now, like I said, it seemed like it was the end of the match. But it ended up being the first fall. Because Triple H decided to make this like the match between the Shield and Evolution Sunday and No Holds Barred elimination match. So Cody was the first eliminated. And Goldust was basically left in a 2-on-1 No Holds Barred handicap situation. He got beat up all across the ring. You know, he tried to counter the Hangman's TDT by Orton. He did put in the setup for it, but he countered it. But would later be fed by a Batista spine buster. And of course, an RKO and the victory for Orton and Batista, sending a big message to Evolution, from Evolution to the Shield for this Sunday. Of course, we would see Evolution and the Shield take on each other this Sunday, and the contract signing would end Raw tonight. Now, on to our next match involving the world debut of Bo Dallas. I said Wyatt because not only would I think Bo Dallas would fit in the Wyatt family for two reasons. One, he delivers decent promos like the Wyatts. And for second, he's Bray Wyatt's real-life brother. Because you can tell by the voices. Like when Bo spoke, you can tell he's got the same kind of voice as Bray does. Like I said, they're siblings. Of course, the sons of ILS. Seen a lot of siblings from WWE superstars in the company. You know, we got Usos, sons of Rikishi. We got Natalya, the daughter of Neidhart. We got Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte. They're taking on each other, Natalya and Charlotte, this Thursday on NXT TakeOver. We got Tamina Snuka, you know, Jimmy Snuka's daughter. You know, Curtis Axel, Mr. Perfect's son. And now we got Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt. I don't know that they were brothers, especially offspring of IRS. I don't know that till recently. And happy birthday to Bo Dallas. He turned 24 today. So what a better way to celebrate your 24th birthday, Mr. Bo Dallas, the debut on Raw and take on Thank God. Now, like Bo Dallas, he's trying to be this motivational guy, kind of a parody of all these other gimmicks. Like, he's getting overzealous, you know. He's been on Raw before. You know, he was on Raw last year in a little feud with Wade Barrett. Then he got sent back to NXT, become the NXT champion, and now he's on the main roster. He debuted on SmackDown on Friday, and now he's on Raw. And it was an easy squash. It was an okay match against Sin Cara, ending with the Bulldog. That was kind of a funny way. He's like Emma. Like, Emma likes to put her name in front of everything. You know, the Evolution. The Dull Emma. And the Bulldog is like the same thing. And both came from NXT. And what do you know? Speaking of Emma, we have a match involving Emma. Taking on Alicia Fox. Of course, the number one contender for the Divas Championship. But before we see the number one contender for the Divas Championship in action, we have to find out about the situation involving the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Stephanie came out, and of course, she said last week that D-Bryan would be on Raw to surrender the title. Now, D-Bryan came out, and he's like, my neck injuries, worse than always, worse than I thought, and I have no shame in turning over this title. But you would like it that way, don't you, Stephanie? You would love for me to hand you this title right now. You've been wanting to get rid of me as champion ever since I won the title at Mania. So my answer for you, no. D-Bryan did not surrender the title. So that's why you see on the subtitle, Fate of Championship Unknown. You guys said more questions than answers. And like I said earlier as well, I think we'll finally get a clearly definitive fate of the title this Sunday at Payback. Because Stephanie said, D-Bryan, your wife put your hands on me 2 weeks ago when you got taken out by Kane. When you announced your surgery. And if you don't surrender your title on Sunday, I fired Brad Maddox, your wife could be next. Basically, it's blackmail. You forfeit the title, or your wife gets fired. So we'll see what happens there. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about what's going to happen to D-Bryan's title. Is he going to retain it, or at least keep it and then defend it? Like what happened to Dolph Ziggler. He never lost the title. I said it last week. When Dolph had his concussion last year, he never really lost the title. He never forfeited the title, should I say. But he came back after a month and lost the title in a screwy match against Alberto Del Rio. Ironically, at Payback, the pay-per-view this Sunday. So there you go. Now on to a match involving Alicia Fox, the new crazy girl in the WWE. Since AJ is gone, I think WWE's like, they had a meeting. They're like, okay, AJ's out for a while, getting married to CM Punk. We need someone to take her spot as a new crazy girl. Who could be the new crazy girl? I got it. Someone said, let's let the new crazy girl be Alicia Fox. And she is crazy, and she gets a Divas title match this Sunday against Paige. I said last week on my review of last week's Raw that Paige beat Alicia Fox again. I'm sorry. Alicia Fox did beat Paige last week in a non-title match. Like I said in my review, I lost cable for a little bit during that match. I didn't see the ending. So I read later on that Alicia Fox won. Sorry, I thought she lost. Because she went crazy again. But as I saw tonight, it didn't matter if she wins or loses. She goes crazy no matter what. And she would take on Emma. Now Alicia Fox, like I said, she's more vicious than ever. And crazy, like I said. And she would go vicious on Emma. Until Emma would get a surprise pin and the win. For Alicia, Alicia Fox was dominating halfway towards the match. Like she was really dominant. And really proving herself of worthy to be a number one contender for Paige's title. But as Alicia Fox was taking advantage, Emma came flying back with a big move following a big kick and a 1-2-3 victory for Emma. Getting a pin on a number one contender for the Divas title. And once again, Alicia Fox went crazy. I'm not a loser! Or I'm not an honorable! Elephant Man reference. Hey, they can make a Miley Cyrus reference and a Taylor Swift reference, referencing her song Mine by saying, you can throw rocks at things that shine. I can make an Elephant Man reference. It's not relevant, but still, it's a reference. So, Alicia Fox went batshit again. And of course, she takes on Paige this Sunday. Now, remember what I said earlier that I'm going to be ranting a lot more, be more vocal than usual? Rant button turned all the way up. Good news, everybody. After weeks of pointless, silly segments, we would finally see the Exotic Express in action, as Adam Rose would finally make his in-ring debut. But I'm afraid I've got some bad news. As in Adam Rose's debut, he would beat, or should I say face, Damien Sandow. Really? 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 Fellas, he was fucking Magneto a few weeks ago. Now Sandow's fucking Davy Crockett? Now he's a fucking joke. Like, come on, WWE. Like, you could have let Adam Rose beat anybody else. I would rather have seen Adam Rose beat Abel Del Rio. Beat anybody in the 3MB. Beat R-Truth. Not let him fucking squash Sandow. Come on, I've been ranting for months about Sandow and also Dolph Ziggler getting demoted. Last year, Sandow was on top of the fucking world. He had money in the bank. He looked like he was going to be the next big star. Look what a difference a year makes. He's now a fucking joke, and he fucking loses to Adam Rose? What the fuck? Come on. And nothing against Adam Rose. I'm not being a lemon, okay? Don't call me a lemon. I'm not yelling. I'm not bitching at Adam Rose. It's not Adam Rose's fault. He had to do what creative wrote for him. And creative wrote that he beats Damien Sandow. This is at fucking creative. This ain't Adam Rose. It's at creative. And I even said I would have loved to have seen a DQ to at least retain Sandow's dignity. We almost saw that with Jack Swagger continuing his feud with Adam Rose by distracting Rose. But even with the distraction, Rose still won. Cool little finisher, but like I said, they're squashing Sandow, making him turn into a fucking joke. Like I said, I would rather have seen Adam Rose job anybody. Like, seen Adam Rose squash anybody else. Like Del Rio, 3MB, or Truth goes down the list of people I would rather have seen Adam Rose face. Tannis O'Neal, guys who have no futures. Sandow needs a better future. And if this keeps going on, if Sandow continues to be a joke, 3 letters could be in his future. ROH or TNA. Maybe ROH, because TNA sucks now. Anyway, that's my little, like I said, I'll be more vocal than usual. And like I said, Sandow needs a fucking push. And the continuing demotion, the continuing burying of Sandow. Like I said, first Magneto, now he's fucking David Crockett got squashed by Adam Rose of all people. Like, come on. Like I said, I'm not being a lemon. I am a Rose, but I like Adam Rose. His character's kind of silly, but I like him. But it's like, I'm yelling at creative for having Sandow be squashed again. Like I said, I'd rather have seen Adam Rose beat Del Rio or anybody else that deserves to get squashed. Not Sandow. Sandow does not need to get squashed. I know there was like trying to get a hashtag push Ziggler. I think it should be hashtag push Sandow. I like both guys. Both guys need a push. Speaking of Del Rio, the reason why we didn't see Del Rio against Adam Rose, went button down, is because Del Rio was taking on Sheamus. Now, like I said, Sheamus is taking on Cesaro. Now, we saw Sheamus get involved after Cesaro's match against RVD earlier. And I kind of knew that we would see Cesaro get involved in this match. And he would. Well, after. And these guys, Sheamus and Del Rio, had an interesting feud a few years ago. They kind of renewed it. And Sheamus was on a roll. But I don't know if this is a storyline, but Sheamus fell out of whack. He got his head kicked in a lot by Del Rio. Is Sheamus suffering a real concussion or a storyline concussion? Because he was setting up the bro kick after the white noise. He was setting up the bro kick, and he felt woozy. He felt dizzy. And Del Rio capitalized on it by delivering some nasty enziguri kicks. And as he was capitalizing on Sheamus' untimely injury further, out of nowhere, a bro kick by Sheamus, despite being out of whack in the 1-2-3 victory for Sheamus. And despite being out of whack, we would see the Paulus, Cuckoo Kachu come out and distract Sheamus to get a beatdown from Cesaro. Like I said, turnaround's fair play. Cesaro's like, Sheamus, you get involved in my match, I'm going to get involved in yours. A post-match beatdown like he did to me. So Cesaro would beat down Sheamus, and Sheamus was out of whack. The referees were checking up on him. You know, he was really woozy. I don't know if it was storyline or real, but it was very intense to see Sheamus all out of whack and like all woozy and like not knowing where the fuck he was. And the final nail was the equalizer, the neutralizer. I always confuse it. I always call it equalizer, but it's neutralizer. So Cesaro capitalized on Sheamus' untimely injury with him being concussed or being out of whack. He was kind of woozy after getting his head kicked in and being beat up by their wheel. Like the effects got to him, especially when he was setting up the first throat kick. And despite winning, being out of whack, you know, like I think they're making Sheamus unstoppable. Like they put him in these situations. They had that great handicap match between him and Axel and Ryback a couple weeks ago, and he beat them both. And he got woozy doing his match against the Ryu, and he still won. So there you go. But I think Cesaro, like I said earlier, I think Cesaro is going to win the U.S. Championship this Sunday. IC US, same thing, the mid-card titles. Now on to our last segment. The Shield Evolution contract signing. Now they said that one of these three teams may not last. I think they're hinting towards it because, like I said earlier, Batista's leaving to make a movie, or at least promote his movie. So this elimination stipulation could be a way of winding out Batista out and breaking up Evolution since Batista's leaving for a break. I thought he was going to leave after Extreme Rules, but he may stay until Payback. So we'll see Evolution's opponents, Shield, come out, throw out all the tables and chairs, and sign a contract. Because we know all these contract signings. Like a typical cliche of contract signings has been, there was going to be a fight. There's always a fight during these contract signings. This one was no exception. Despite a tease from Evolution, from teasing themselves out of it, there was the beatdown. And Shield was taking over this brawl. Once again, this feud's been intense. The build-up's been intense. The brawls have been great. And the match Extreme Rules was great. Even without a stipulation, it was still great. And with the stipulation in this match, this Sunday is going to be a great match as well. And like I said, Evolution was looking weak. As Evolution was getting pummeled by the Shield. Big fly move for Rollins. And a big Superman punch for Reigns on Batista. But then, the turning point. The turnaround. Triple H would pull out the sledgehammer. And after he nailed Reigns with the sledgehammer, Evolution took over from there. Dominance on Evolution from Evolution following the sledgehammer. Sledgehammer. Peter Gabriel reference. Hey, if I can make an Elephant Man reference, I can make a Peter Gabriel reference. Sledgehammer, I'm gonna beat your sledgehammer. So after that sledgehammer, like I said, Evolution really took over. Ending with the combination, the exclamation point, should I say, a triple power bomb on Reigns. Through the announce tables, we end Raw with all three members of the Shield pummeled, perished, should I say, by Evolution. They sent a message earlier to the Shield with the handicap elimination match involving Cody Rhodes and Goldust, and they sent the biggest message of all to the Shield on the Shield tonight, as we would lay out the Shield again as we end Raw with the team of Evolution standing tall. Believe in Evolution. So there you go. Kind of a mixed bag of Raw. You know, first hour was kind of slow, but once it got going, it was a decent Raw. The go-home show was pretty interesting with some things I want to rant about. Even when Sandal's continuing getting buried. So that's why this review's longer than usual. So there you go. That is it for my WWE Raw review for tonight. I'll see you all later. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. Happy Memorial Day, everybody, once again. See ya. Yes, yes, yes.